All right, here we are for the outside tour of the Holiday Rambler Scepter.
We're starting our tour on the outside of the 2003 Holiday Rambler Scepter. On the front we have a generator. The access is with a little hidden latch underneath by the license plate. It just slides out for easy access. In the generator here we have start switch and stop switch here right on the generator. We have hour indicator. We have oil level and fill and water level and fill. And it's a pretty simple operation. Push it, it will do a preheat for a moment. The light comes on to let you know that everything's good. And once the preheat is finished, then it starts. That's pretty much it for the generator up here. We also have air, because we have 130 pound pressure on the unit here. And this is for filling tires, that sort of thing. And there is a valve right inside here which this connects to. We pull it back just a little bit and it will reach to it, connect the valve, and then open the valve, and you're ready to go with your air. There's a retractable 50-foot hose, so you can reach anything on the motorhome and automobiles that are parked nearby. Continuing our walk around, we have outboard cameras here, left and right, for seeing oncoming traffic behind you. There is also one on the rear for a rear view, and one that points straight down so that you can get a view of your tow hitch while you're driving. As we go around, you have diesel fuel tank filler here, and there's one on both sides, so it's very convenient. There's a 100-gallon tank, so it gives you quite a range. We also have on all the tires, both on the motorhome and on the tow vehicle, air pressure and air temperature sensors, which relay to the driver in real time. There's storage, quite a bit of storage. This one in particular we use often, and it's heavy with the tools, so we have a nice slide out for that. Makes it very easy to get to. There's also lights in all the bays, so at nighttime you can easily see what's in there. The second bay going back, generally camping, you'll be doing everything on this side of the unit, as this is where the canopy is. So in here is where we store all the things that you'll take out on a normal camping trip. Chairs, rug, you got covers for the tires. This is the Dirt Devil central vac system here. We have electricity here to feed that, and also an extra one for anything else you want to plug in. And this is pretty simple. You just pull this out and you can change the bag right here when it gets full. And more storage up on top here. Again, most everything on this side. We have an outdoor barbecue here, propane barbecue. And everything here is meant to be accessed very easily to unload during your stay at any one spot. Moving back a little further, these lock, and unless I need them, I usually keep them locked. Also, whenever on a trip, always lock them and pull to be sure that they aren't open. I did have one open one time when it was malfunctioning before I replaced all these, and I lost a rug that wasn't one of my favorites anyway. Inside here we have the propane tank. We have an on and off valve back here, the yellow valve, and that goes to this hose. The extension hose goes back to the barbecue. So you have a hookup right off of the main tank for the barbecue. Whenever they're filling the tank at a station, there's a switch here that you turn off, and it turns off all of the LP gas. That way there aren't any pilot lights or anything going. They fill over here. We also store the wheel chock in here. And moving Moving on back, we have the electronics. The 4 Battle-Born batteries. We have 200 amp hours at 24 volts. There are quite a few switches in here for on-off. We have to transfer from 24 to 12 volt here, and so it goes through this unit, and this turns it on and off for the 12 volt going into the motorhome. Inside of this box here, there's also another solar charger. There's a single panel on top, and it's dedicated to the 2 batteries that are for the chassis, so that way those are always charged when you're sitting for a long time. On the other side over here, we have the solar charger from all the main panels on the roof, which charges the main house batteries. We have an on and off switch here for that solar charger, so you can disconnect that at any time. And we also have an on and off for the chassis, which runs the motor and all the interior things for when you are driving. We also have a spare of the transformer here for the 24 to 12 volt unit in case this one were ever to go bad. Next to that, the heavy cables come in here for the inverters. We have 175 amp breakers here, 1 for each inverter. We have master and slave inverters, which we covered on the panels on the inside. This is a hub which everything connects to communicate with each other. And up above that, where you can see a little light that blinks very slowly, yellow light. This is for the generator start, the automatic start. When the light is blinking slow like that, it means that it's in automatic and it will start if it goes low. Again, we have lights in all the bays, so it makes it very nice for when you have to get in here in the dark and do anything. Continuing around, we have access for the motor. In the engine bay, it's a 350 horsepower Cummins motor. It's about 1,200 pounds of torque, so it's a pretty hefty motor. There is a dipstick here to check your oil level. And we have the air cleaner. This is a filter for the automatic transmission. We have various filters through here. This little gauge will tell you how your air filter is doing for the motor. And it'll come up and eventually it'll turn red if it's dirty and needs changing. And we have the fill for the overflow on the radiator over here on this side. Most everything else you would have a mechanic take care of in here. Even changing oil, it's much easier to just have them do that. We'll cover the tow bars here when we hook the car up for traveling. This side we have access for the water heater. Down below we have access for the shore power cord for plugging into the shore power. The transfer switch is also located in the back of this. When you're at a park that doesn't have 50 amp and it has 30 amp, we have an adapter for that right in here. It's a side-mounted radiator, which is much preferred over the rear mount. You can get into it much easier and it runs much cooler. There are docking lights inside when we cover the switches, so you can see when you're backing up at night. Over here we have the water system and sewer system. Starting on the right here, we have the 2 valves for the black water on the right, clear water, gray water on the left. Hooks up here for dumping when you have a system to dump into. Otherwise you can hook it to the tank we have in the back there for hauling it. Fresh water outlet here if you want to wash a car or use a hose for anything. This little guy here you can hook your hose to and it flushes out the black water tank. So that's handy to do every so often. When you have water coming in as we do here right off of a water system, this valve goes up like this, and we've got a pressure here that's adjustable, so you can be sure you aren't getting too much pressure in there. Some parks actually have pressure over 100 pounds and they'll blow out your lines inside your unit, so it's important to have this and make sure it's functioning. We covered inside about a water pump for when you're out of a park and boondocking. There's also a switch here for that, which you can turn on if you're using water outside here and you need pressure. And then here we have a switch for the storage lights. So it turns on all the lights in the unit. This light comes on automatically here when you open the door. So this one bay is the only one that does that. Over here we have a filler that you can put a hose in if you want to fill it directly into there. Also, if you're filling the onboard tank, it holds 100 gallons of water. You can fill it right off of your hose coming in to the unit. You simply pull it down and it starts filling the tank. You can hear it running in there now. It will have an overflow on the other side, and it also will overflow out of this. Always be sure you take this cap off so that it doesn't build up too much pressure when it starts to overflow. All right, moving to the next bay here, we have storage on the top for all the gray water, black water hoses. Here we have an outdoor shower with hot and cold water. And this I haven't used yet, but it's for storing it in the winter, and it's one of the things you use to help drain all the water. There are also drains down here. The water pump that we turned on earlier, the electric pump, is right here. There are some controls right here which were just replaced and brand new, so that should last quite a long time. We have drains here and drains here and drains here for winter time. It's covered in the manual, so you can go through that. Also, normally, and especially in parks, we run water through the water filter, and that way you aren't getting any funky water out of anything. And the last thing in this bay, located way underneath here, is a little heater. It's cargo heat. That one we covered inside, where you can turn it on and off, and when it gets below 40 degrees, it'll come on and keep this area warm, just warm enough so it won't freeze. The next bay, we're looking at the opposite side of the same bays on the other side. They go all the way through. In here I store things that I don't use as often. Stuff that I just get out on occasion to use. Over here is a unit that is for the self-leveling, and in the very back there's a disc, and that can be screwed up and down and changed in different configurations to get the level just right for the automatic leveling. Next to that, we have the other side of where we have the tools. This one also slides all the way out, so it gives easy access to anything you have in here. I've installed shelves up above on all four of them, so there's more storage up there also. We have the motors for the slide outs are located up inside of the bay here on the roof of the bay. And here's the diesel fill on the opposite side. So again, when you pull in the station, you can fill from either side. And the last bay we have here is electronics. Battery is for the generator. We have quite a few fuses here, which are all identified on the back of the panel here. Everything is 12 volt here. This main wire comes in here from the rear of the trailer, and this is coming from the 24 to 12 volt unit and supplies 12 volt for everything inside of here. Excuse me, this is where it comes in over here, and then it comes to this point. Now, I didn't know about this for a long time, but we have 2 boxes down here, and there are also some fuses in these. It's well marked what they're for, and some of those are also just breakers. On the left over here, we have the reservoir for the windshield washer fluid.
Here we are on the roof, but there's a lot of trees in the way.
On the roof, second story here, we have quite a few items. This is the dish satellite receiver. It's in its stowed position now. We have quite a few solar panels up here. It's 1,560 watts. So probably more than any other unit out there. This is the local TV antenna, which you can crank up from the inside and adjust direction from there. We have the air conditioner heat pump here. These are new units, only a couple of years old. And over all the vents, I've installed these max air covers. They can be opened up here by taking these clips out for cleaning. But these make it so you can open your vents while you're driving, and when it's raining, you can have them open, which before you wouldn't be able to do that. The rain would come right in. So these are really a nice addition. We have a white one there over the bathroom, so it lets light in. This is the exhaust vent for the refrigerator, and this is where we're going to be installing the couple fans, which will help improve the efficiency of that. We have 2 sewer vents on the roof. One is right here, and another one a little further to the back. They come directly up out of the bathroom, and they're for the black water. And moving back, we have the rear air conditioner heat pump unit. Have a skylight over the bathtub, and this is the solar panel that charges. It's dedicated just to be charging the house batteries, so that way they're always charged up no matter how long you've been away. This is the antenna for the booster for the cell phone, and this is the mounting bracket for the weather station. So whenever you stop and you're going to be someplace for a while, you just slide it right on there, point it toward the north. It'll tell you your wind speeds and outside temperatures, rain, all that good stuff. We also have a rear view camera right here, and it gives you a very nice rear view, just like you're looking in a rear view mirror. And right below that, over the side, which you can't quite see from now, is another camera. It points straight down. And the function of that camera is to be able to keep an eye on your hitches and be sure there's no problems going on with that while you're driving. And that pretty much covers it for the second story.